Over the years, I've had the fortune of experiencing different motorcycle trailers, and I found my favorite one, the Iron Horse, American-made motorcycle-specific trailer. Stay tuned for a complete in-depth review of this awesome piece of equipment that you should have in your garage. Bravo y dobrodošli, bon dia, bem-vindo, servus, willkommen, buenos dias, bienvenidos, greetings riders, and welcome to another Pegasus Motorcycle Tours and Consulting review. Yours truly, Nick here. Thank you for your time and for your attention. What I'd like to do is review my very own Iron Horse motorcycle trailer. This is the Widebody, two big motorcycle trailer that's bike specific. Bike specific meaning it's specifically meant for motorcycles, or although I did have some occasions to help some friends move, I'll tell you about that as well. So I've learned to love this trailer. It's a fantastic piece of equipment, but there are some things that I don't like about it, and I'd like to share that with you, as you've come to expect honest reviews from a channel that's completely independent. So let's get to it. Iron Horse trailers made in Tennessee, American-made craftsmanship. You got to respect that. I always prefer to buy local meaning here in the United States. My sidecar tours are the only ones in the world that use American-made machines, including the Honda Goldwing, which at that time was made in Ohio, and the Daytona Champion Sidecar. If you're interested, take a look, PegasusSidecarTours.com, and if you're interested in becoming a franchisee in a city near you, let me know. So, American-made aluminum body or aluminum frame with a fiberglass body, nothing to rust, no exposed wood, no plywood, no bare metal, nothing to that sort. Just a fabulously high-quality trailer that's going to last for a very long time. Always finished in a clear coat, gel coat, same coat that they use for boats, for example, with an anti-chip coating, and just gives that good look. So some trailers come unpainted, but this one comes painted from, or at least with the gel coat from factory, and you are able to customize it with specific coloring scheme, for example. So looks wise, it's beautiful, and I get compliments on it all the time. It's kind of interesting. I get compliments on it more than on bikes sometimes. People just come out of the store to look at the thing and to ask you about it. You don't really see these. I've never seen one on the road, which is kind of interesting, and especially not on the West Coast, just because these are made in Tennessee. So they're hardly ever on sale, and they retain their value fabulously, which is so interesting because this trailer is about $1,100 before delivery, tax and fees and all that, and then you can add another $900 for D-rings and a spare mounted tire inside and that kind of thing, little options that they offer. It's not a cheap trailer, especially if you have it delivered, and it's basically what you're going to find it for on the used market as well, which is kind of interesting. This is a 2013, and it's been performing beautifully. I've had the pleasure of taking it around the country, literally, from north to south, from west to east. I'm in Virginia right now, going to DC, delivering two Goldwings for a gentleman who's starting a sidecar business over there. I have two big bikes in there, almost 1,000 pounds each, pulling behind this 2019 Jeep Wrangler 4-cylinder 2.0 turbo, and I'm getting 18 miles a gallon. So one curious thing has happened since I've loaded the second Goldwing onto the trailer, and it's been 250 miles, all highway. Average speed probably 55, but I take it as far as up 65. Although after 65 it starts to feel a little uneasy. My gas mileage has increased by about 2, which is pretty interesting. So from 18 to about 20. And I'm still driving 55, 60, even with this rain. There you see the mileage and the average gas mileage, which I refreshed this morning when I started on the second day. So the first bike was loaded in Southern California, took it to Georgia, 5 days, really nice, even though it's winter, and this particular year in the winter we've had over 90 fatalities, the majority of which in Tennessee from the snow and the ice and the bad weather. This is the first break in the weather I've had to film this, and it's been doing great. This car is not really meant for towing. I think the hitch weight is 350 pounds, the tongue weight for the car, and around 3,500 pounds pull weight. So really not really a tow vehicle, especially with the tires, and it's an off-road vehicle. It's not really meant so much for towing, but it's doing great. It's almost more stable with this particular wide body motorcycle trailer than without. It's so interesting. Just because the trailer is about a foot wider on each side, you cannot see behind you, so you need a rear view camera. They sell those now that you can add to the frame. But it's been great, so great. I feel comfortable taking my whole family. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old and my wonderful wife, and we make a road trip out of it. When I have to go deliver a bike or pick up a bike, we make a road trip going down the coast and redwoods, etc. And I feel perfectly confident with this trailer, and it's been great in wet weather. I've even had it slip on me a little bit in snow and ice, but I don't know, it's pretty good. It's been really confidence inspiring. And that goes with the fact that the car is not equipped with trailer brakes, so I've had to get a CURT Bluetooth trailer brake module that you install in the 7-plug outlet between it and the trailer connection, and then you control it with your phone, and it's been working wonderful. So modern day solution to you not having to invest probably $1,000 into installing a switch, taking out your whole dash, etc. So this is a 3,500 pound axle sitting on 15-inch wheels, beautiful wheels, and it's got a towing capacity of 2,350 pounds, I believe. So you can take 2 of the biggest bikes and still have space around them, if you're my size, let's say, to tie them down, you know, to access whatever you have in this little nook here. I have a lot of gas cans. Gas is literally half the price than it is here, so I'm gonna fill up before than it is in California. Everything is half the price than it is in California. So I'm gonna fill up, and I have some tool kits over there. I got my kitchen in there. I got a toilet if, you know, I get stuck in the snow and I need to hang out for a little while. So I got some space back there, and you get this beautiful sleek look of the trailer, which really has a great effect on not only handling, but also obviously gas mileage. It's very aerodynamic, so it doesn't create a lot of noise, and I really love that about it. It really trails like it feels like part of the car, so I appreciate that. That's the best part of this trailer. It looks great resale value, and it tows amazingly well. Now, how does it travel with motorcycles inside? Well, you get this 4 feet door that opens down into a ramp, and then you raise the roof, and you got something like 7 feet 6 inches of clearance to park your bike, so you can be fully standing no matter how tall you are, unless you are a Serbian basketball player. And then you basically ride your bike inside. It's got a choke. That's another option you can buy, but I would highly recommend it. You get a 5,000 pound D-rings and chokes that you basically ride into. They lock the wheel. This one has 2. You can install a 3rd one in the middle, or the way I had it when I was just traveling with one, I would take one, unbolt it, and then put it in the middle, so the bike is perfectly centered, and I have plenty of space on each side. Not enough to sleep in if that's your idea, but cause, you know, because the bike is strapped down and whatnot, but enough to store plenty of stuff. So pretty great setup. The ramp, of course, is wonderful to have that. Just you don't have to carry anything extra. I do have a little negative feeling about the ramp, and that's that it sits kind of high from the floor. It sits about, I don't know, almost 2-3 inches off the floor, so you kind of have to really take some speed to climb a big motorcycle up there. I wish there was a little transition, you know, that a wedge that the motorcycle didn't have to climb over, because it seems very hard on the door itself. So that's one area of improvement that I would ask Iron Horse to consider, because it makes a lot of noise and it just feels very rough on the trailer door itself. So I carry everything I need to make my breakfast between this local artist work right here. 2 penises that are surrounding my table, and I love this MSR little stove. It's so quick to boil water. So just doing the eggs German style, I can carry my let me put that down. Wow, this is crazy. I can carry my Massimo fridge, little espresso maker right there. Put that on the front seat, plug it in. I even got a bicycle for those rare occasions I might have some time to myself in this trip. And the trailer has been awesome. I don't hear it moving around. I did notice that I did not secure my toilet, and it was rubbing against the center stand and actually made a hole, which is very unfortunate. But I haven't had the need to use it, but it's good to have a toilet if you get stuck somewhere, plus the winter weather, etc. So all my camping gear's over there. Got a ton of jugs and a jack, 1,000-pound jack. All my clothes for the 20 days, and cooking stuff, oil to change oil on the Jeep. I got more tie downs. Got some bottles of alcohol. I'll be visiting people along the way, so those are gifts. And just tires that I changed prematurely on this trailer. I like to start everything with brand new tires, so you don't have to think about it. I've already put 1,500 miles on this trailer driving it from the other coast. I got it in Seattle with a sidecar, beautiful BMW Hannigan sidecar. And today actually I'm making a stop at Texas Sidecar. They're 20 minutes from here. They now make the Champion sidecar that I work with in my Pegasus Sidecar Tours. When you're in San Diego, take a tour. And I'm growing the business as a franchise, so I'd like to keep that setup the same. So I'm looking forward to that meeting. And then tomorrow we are, or actually in 2 days, we're gonna meet Ian Hannigan as well, because the gentleman wants to work with Hannigan for these motorcycles of his. So yeah, it's great for that. So that's why when I bought the sidecar, I had my whole family in the car, 2 little kids, my wife, and had no qualms about how it performed. I had perfect confidence in this trailer, pulling it from one corner of the country, 1,500 miles down to the almost to the southern border. It's a little messy in there now. I've noticed a lot of things have shuffled quite a lot. I really have to tie them down, even though I'm just mostly on highway. So I'm not sure why it's traveling so much inside the trailer. And the only negative that I've noticed so far has been this right here. There's been a crack. I didn't notice it when I bought it, but it's definitely there. The trailer door also has a fault with the way it locks into the trailer. It has pins on both sides and on the roof. Those pins on the roof lock the roof so that nobody can open the roof when the trailer is locked. Of course, it's lockable, but those pins are very weak and they break. They're metal pins about 3 inches, maybe a 1/4 inch or so wide, and they stick out like fingers. And you know, if the trailer isn't perfectly aligned with the hole, it'll be hitting on that and then it'll just break on the other side. I've had to re-weld that twice already, and sometimes it doesn't last more than a week. So it's not a design that needs to stay. I think it's a design that needs to be improved or completely replaced with another system, which I don't know what that would be, but if it keeps breaking, it's not sufficient. So at this point, I have one that's already broken, another one is broken off. So I think I'm just gonna take the other one and keep the roofs until I get that fixed and re-weld it or buy a second set. So there's that. You get Torx axle by Dexter. I hear they're no longer made in the US. Don't take me up on that, but my suspension guy is not the biggest fan of them. So the Torx axle is actually kind of nice because I feel it's a much bigger improvement from leaf springs. For one, leaf springs break. I had that break on my trailer. Had to park it in a campground for a week until I could find a part and replace it. And the manufacturer told me to look on Amazon. And it's like, what is this? A lot of these are made in China nowadays and they're just trash, according to my suspension guy, who knows suspension. So I don't want to go back to leaf springs again. I feel like they're too bouncy. They're just, it's kind of like old tech, you know? So the Torx axle is basically a square axle that has another shaft running through it, and in each corner of that square on the interior there's like a rubber round pipe, let's say. So that rubber pipe, when the interior square axle rotates from the force exerted on the wheels, it actually actuates on those rubbers that are in the corners of the larger square outer pipe, let's say. I hope I can explain that. Take a look at a video and you'll get it better than I can explain in words, but it's kind of interesting. What you get is a plusher ride, and you can see there's not much clearance here, so it's a very low sitting trailer. The deck is only 1.3 feet off the ground, but you could see I'm almost to the curb. In fact, because it's so wide, sometimes actually on a curvy sidewalk, when I'm parked next to it, I have to almost back up and then take a left, instead of, if I took a left right away, the trailer is going to hug and actually hit that sidewalk before that curve is initiated on the trailer itself, before the cornering is exerted on the trailer. So it's kind of interesting. So it takes a little getting used to, because it is, again, I think it's over a foot wider on each side. It's 8 feet 6 inches wide on the outside. On the inside, it's 6.8 inches at the wheel well, higher up top here for the mirrors, and a little bit less so from I think about 8 inches for the back, 8 feet for the bags. So it's really meant, really intelligently designed, not only to reduce wind drag, but also to have this cool look that enables you to have big wide motorcycle mirrors, or even like an extended windshield for the Goldwing, for example. And it has plenty of space. You don't need to remove anything. You don't need to modify anything. The Goldwings are in there just like from factory. So it's kind of interesting. Love that about it. Overall width or length is about 16 feet. Interior is about 13.6. So it's not overly large or long. I can actually maneuver it around the yard. And because it's so light, it's only 1,170 pounds dry, I can pick it up and I can move it around and push it and pull it, and it's kind of nice. The biggest limiting factor is its height. If you're on the yard, you know, you pick it up from the front, it digs in the rear. It's just not very tall. And if you have to maneuver around some brushes, or if it's not perfectly, you know, level ground or paved, then it gets a little tricky. Otherwise, I love the fact that it's so light. So again, the axle rating is 3,500 pounds, and the weight rating is 2,270, I believe. There's a spec sheet attached to the description of this video. The lighting is great. You get vertical LED lights for the back, and you get some side lighting as well. So that part is great. This one has the optional breakaway brake system. It's drum brakes that are now controlled by that CURT little Bluetooth module. But what I don't have too much confidence for is the chains that are coming from the vehicle and connecting by one little, looks like a 14-inch screw or bolt, but one for both chains. So if that's supposed to be some kind of emergency catch, I'm not sure that it would do the job, to be very, very honest. I mean, I assume it's been tested and that kind of thing, but other than that, the brake system has a little cable that if the trailer does break away, it'll brake itself. So that's kind of nice. I haven't found difficulty to put this trailer to a stop if needed on a downhill grade where the whole rig starts to pick up speed. So with that CURT Bluetooth module, it's been doing great. So loading it is easy because you don't need anybody to do it. You ride or push depending on the size of the bike, but mostly ride because it is a you know, shorter, because it's such a low trailer, it is a short ramp. So then the angle is a little aggressive. So when you ride the bike on there and you park it in the choke kind of, like every other choke, I suppose, locks the wheel so that the bike is level. So then you can just get off the bike and tie it down yourself without the need of anybody holding the bike, let's say. So you get these little rubber gussets here that protect the trailer when it's on the ground, but that adds another inch of height, which is kind of interesting. Again, it is lockable, of course, so you can store stuff in there. I was thinking to using it also as a camper, if you know, on shorter trips, if I'm going somewhere to pick up a bike and it's sitting empty. But it doesn't have any windows. Windows are easy enough to install. You could buy those at a RV shop or online, and those are little oval windows that are sold for basically sailboats and that kind of thing. But it's very thin. There's no insulation. And then it would look awkward even if you were to cut in a window. The other problem is there's no lock inside, so you can't really lock the trailer or get out of it, for that matter, because there's no handle or anything. I wish that was different. I wish you could lock it from the inside. It would make it a lot more usable. It's got this little puny key that bent, because when you unlock it, if you open a door, you leave it in there, I guess it's enough for this to touch the ground and it bent. So that would be super annoying to break that, but it really looks kind of puny in there. So unlock it and turn it, and then you pull it with all your might that you possibly can muster. I mean, it's just, I'm doing everything I can here to open the thing. And I shouldn't have done that, because now I just made a mistake. All right, now I gotta dick with that again. This trailer also doesn't have any lights except by right here by the exterior, which are not very useful. We need some lights over there and up top and in the front, all over. Like we just need a lot of lights. And I would really appreciate a 12-volt outlet at least, because then the fridge that I have in my front seat, I can actually connect in the trailer. That would be ideal, and just leave everything there. But that's another option you can opt in for, and I would recommend it if you're buying new. The floor is anti-skid. It doesn't look as anti-skid as it performs, but it performs really well. Albeit on the ramp side, there are some strips that are not coated with that anti-skid pattern, let's say, and you kind of lose a little grip there. So I wish that was a little different. Maybe if they could add some kind of, I don't know, heavy duty sandpaper material, something to that effect, that would also last, obviously, because it's getting abused by the rubber of the wheels. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of is these support bars right here. You have a little pull plug or pin on the inside, and then that comes down. You're supposed to use that when the trailer is not connected, so it doesn't tip backward when you're loading something heavy. All is well with that. However, with the grime of the road and the moisture, it gets a little seized up in there, so it's kind of sometimes hard to pull up and down. And if you forget it, you're going to screw yourself. So, and it's easy to forget. It's black, it doesn't stick out, it's really easy to forget. It's one of those little steps that you can easily forget. And what I also don't like, the door is very heavy, very hard to open. I mean, I especially on wet ground, I really have to like put all my weight in it, and right now it's like seized up from the wet road, and it's hard to do. I mean, it's like a morning exercise, you know. So here you see the length of this door, which is starting to crack actually on this side, and on the other I'm losing bits and pieces here. So this little frame here is starting to crack, and you just see the angle, the very sharp angle. I wish there was some easier transition here, because this is hard on the door and hard on the bike as well to climb that. It's almost like a mini curb. And I have two full-size Goldwings in here that have been doing great on the trip, and I love the fact that everything is polished on the inside and painted. Nothing is exposed. There's no exposed metal. Everything looks right. It looks like a nice piece of equipment, which it is. Here you see the pin that's missing, and on the other side it's broken. So every time I try to put this together, I have to fiddle with it. I have to put a little matchstick or something to get that loose pin in the exact right position, and it's never on the first try. So overall though, it's been a great trailer, and people really comment on it, and I've been really happy with the ownership. It's been a great piece of equipment to have in the garage, because also it acts like a garage. You can store items in there, like my sidecar, for example, which is very wide, so I can put it in there when I'm not using it, or I can work on things inside if need be. So for trips like this that are transcontinental, you really want something that's so rugged and durable and functional that you don't have to think about it. Also because the gas is getting so expensive, so if you could have something that's catching less air in virtue of its design, not only is it more pleasurable to ride, but it's also not as, and safer, it's not as loud. You know, you don't get, the Jeep is loud enough, and if I'm catching a ton of wind behind me on an angular trailer, over time, I mean, 2 weeks on the road, you really like start to get annoyed by that. So this trailer, you don't even feel it's behind you. It's really great. So there it is. I hope that was an informative review of this amazing trailer. It's been an excellent piece of equipment that I actually don't want to do without now that I've been used to it. So again, it's been 7 days. I'm taking around the country, delivering 2 bikes in DC, and full confidence. I really had zero issues with this trailer other than those latches at the top. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. If you like what we do here, please remember to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. But also, if you'd like to support the channel, I've recently launched a new product, thepegasusplanner.com. It's something that could literally change your life, because it's changed mine for the better, in the sense that it keeps me more organized, more coordinated, and more on top of the things that I need to do, with daily quotes and just a space for my thoughts and for everything I need to plan out for the week ahead. Take a look at it, thepegasusplanner.com. And also comes with this beautiful leather cover that also has some tools for the everyday, like a comb for us with the helmets on all the time, disheveled, perfume or cologne, and that kind of thing. Take a look at it. I made a video about that. and that's another way you could support this channel. So thank you again for your attention. Until the next one, Nick, I'm out.